Okay, number 11, Sean Gibney.
Certain for sure.
And the broadcast is buffering a little bit, so we're going to quickly pause it and restart. If that doesn't work, then in between innings, I'll just quickly change the resolution a little bit. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that it's gone from day to night, but Chopper, that's a tough down the line. Berardi races, he'll beat it out.
And great range by Palmer to his right there. But some speed for sure from Berardi.
Berardi's known for his power and not his speed, but he definitely showed some speed there. All right, I think that's a little bit better on the resolution, and we'll futz with it throughout the broadcast. And this will bring up the third baseman, Lennon Gomez. All right, no longer the top. No. Home. All right, I have adjusted the settings slightly. Hopefully that makes a difference. Ira Thor, Patrick Baker back here at historic Henley Field. And let's give you the lineup here for SUNY Poly in game number 10. First of all, for the Wildcats at the plate, leading off the first baseman Nick LaBella hitting .471. The catcher Connor Menderson bats second. Vanderbeck in the sixth spot. His brother Seth Vanderbeck in the right field and batting seventh. Matt Flippinger is the left fielder batting eighth. And Bradley Dietz is the third baseman batting ninth. Meanwhile, defensively for the Gothic Knights, Sean Gibney, the junior right-handed side armor, gets the nod on the hill. He'll throw to Jan Castellana behind the plate. In the field for the Knights, Dan Berardi at first. At second base, once again, Tom Polsini. Nick Ozzie Smith-Legato at short. And getting his first start at third base this year is Lennon Gomez. In the outfield, Bill Feehan. In left and center field will be Juan Pena. And Michael Donald making his right field starting debut for the Knights. Amazing how much we can say in between innings.
Yeah, and get a pitch before we got through all that. It was beautiful.
Special thanks to Susan Carfora, Anthony's mom. Got an extra large cup of coffee with cream and sugar. I could not have needed that more than I do right now, as that is a called ball to LaBella, who looks like he's had a really good start to the season, hitting .471.
Yeah, he's been tearing the cover off the ball. He's been in the middle of everything the Wildcats have been doing on offense, and it's great to see that from a sophomore who was behind a senior last year in his freshman year. You know, I thought he was going to have an impact right away, and so far I've been right.
Just low by Gibney. I told the story yesterday. Gibney, who works soccer games in the fall, as a freshman, when he first started running lines, I forgot his name. That's inside. And I think he was offended I forgot his name. And next time he came into the press box, he introduced himself as somebody else. So once I actually knew who he was, and then that happens sometimes with the newcomers, you don't know. Swung on and missed. LaBella goes down on strikes. The next time he came to the press box and I knew who he was, I just kept the bid going and I called him by a different name. And now every time I see Sean, no matter where we are, I call him Travis and Steve and Bob and Phil and Doug and every name you could think of. And it's been a running bit now for 4 years. He missed a year with a medical red shirt after injuring himself as a sophomore. And he'll be back next year to complete his 5th year. Or his 4th year as a 5th year senior. And Menderson, he takes a hack at that one, strike one. Gibney also, if you watch, and you would love these, Pat, watch our post-game interviews or even our interviews from IHOP. Now, line drive down the right field line, it's drifting foul. So last night after our massive 8-hour doubleheader with Emerson, felt like 8 hours, it's probably less than that. Only thing open was IHOP. So we went to IHOP, and I did the post-game interview with the coaches and Kyle Kafer and a few others from IHOP. And then, as we've done these interviews over the years, Sean Gibney, when he's not being interviewed, has always led the antics.
He's that guy.
Yeah, the baseball bat swords. Called strike 3 looking on the inside corner for out number 2.
Oh, beautiful pitch from Gibney there.
Good spot right there.
His fastball right under the hands.
Gibney also will have the baseball bat swords. He's been the victim of WWE chair shots in the videos. That's the first time I ever in my career ever got caught laughing on camera. Last night, he stood behind us and was pouring maple syrup in his mouth.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, that's what makes a video go viral sometimes. And as much as you want to be professional, you got to have a little fun with it.
Well, that's why I love these guys, because they can have fun, and it's all good, clean fun. As Palmer steps in and takes strike 1.
Yeah, Nate Palmer, shortstop for the Wildcats, 333 so far. He was the hero of Game 1 for the Wildcats. Hit a line drive up the middle, driving in the winning run in the bottom of the 10th inning against their first game of Westminster. Junior transfer again. You'll see quite a few of them in our lineup here.
Strike 2.
But just a great kid. Might see him on the mound today. We'll see about that.
Now, see how far Gibney's able to go today. He's been primarily a middle reliever in his career, but he is capable of starting, and he proves it right there. Back-to-back strikeouts looking, and strikes out to side to begin the game as the Wildcats go down 1-2-3, and we got two 4-0 teams scoreless going to the second inning when myself and Patrick Baker, former Wildcat player, comes back. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Are you from New York? That's why I moved down the shore, because you get a lot more money down there. I lived down pretty close to Belmont.
Yeah, that's where I stayed in Utica. Couldn't afford to move back home. Didn't want to pay someone on the day.
Yeah, that's
My brother's there right now. He's making $60,000. He can't even afford an apartment down there with the student loans. It's crazy.
Unfortunately, that is a more common story than people realize.
We have actually.
Alright, so we're back. I just changed the settings. You didn't miss too much because two quick outs as not Alizio with the first pitch ground ball to Legato at shortstop, and then Rodriguez with a sharply hit second pitch line drive to left field on a 1-0 count, I think it was. Actually, it was 0-1 count.
0-1. First pitch was in there.
Yeah, well, I have no short-term memory. This is what your future looks like. So 2 away, and that will bring up Noah Vanderbeck. Gibney out for his second inning of work. A ball and a strike here. Vanderbeck hitting .308 on the year.
Yeah, 308. He's hitting the ball really well, seeing it well, and a couple of RBIs for him. He's been on base quite a bit for the Wildcats and playing a little bit behind the dish.
Strike 3 looking, another K looking. That's the third strikeout looking, and Sean Gibney has 4 strikeouts in 2 innings of work, and we are scoreless through 2. No runs, no hits, nobody left as the Wildcats go in order. Game's moving along a little quicker than the last game we had. We'll see if that continues when we come back.
Catcher number 15, James Castellano.
Top of the third inning here at historic Henley Field in Lakeland, Florida. Ira Thor, Patrick Baker with you from NJCU and SUNY Poly as we are teaming up for a broadcast today. And Jan Castellano will lead off here against Shara. Story of the game so far has been Sean Gibney. Faced 6 batters. He's struck out 4.
Yeah, and he's got that 3/4 arm slot that's just wicked from a hitting perspective. And just throwing every Wildcat batter off his guard so far.
As low, 2-1. The Wildcats are from the Northeastern Athletic Conference, a league we don't really play too often. St. Elizabeth is in there. Obviously, they just went co-ed. I'm not sure if they have baseball yet because they're not on our schedule. I would assume they probably do.
No, not yet. They don't have it yet, no.
Well, man, that should be added to the list there. I know, obviously, Gallaudet's in there with my good friend Sam Atkinson.
Yeah, Sam's great.
And who else is in that league? Got Bryn Athen?
Bryn Athen and Penn State Abington, Penn State Berks down in the Pennsylvania area. Morrisville State College. You have Cobleskill State, Cazenovia and Keuka there in the Finger Lakes area.
So really the only school there that NJCU plays on a regular basis is Penn State Abington. We've played them, I think, probably in each of the last 2 years. Don't think they're on the schedule this year, but we've did a home and home with them. And we played Keuka and Cazenovia in the past when we were the 1 year we were independent. They were in the same league as us. As Castellano waves at that one, he goes down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Shara, and now the Knights have gone down the last 3 times up. Bill Feehan, top of the order, will try to change that. The sophomore from Point Pleasant, hitting .294. Now you yourself, you played for the Wildcats. What years did you play? And ground ball up the middle. Oh, great. Oh, wow, that's going to result in a base hit. But you know what? A lot of credit to the second baseman, Natalizio. I mean, he completely laid out and spun to try to at least keep that in the infield, and very athletic-looking play, yet an infield single for Bill Feehan.
Yeah, Natalizio not naturally a second baseman. Also plays a lot of third base, so as you can see, he thought he was over at third, making the diving play, thinking you have a little more time than you have. Good job of just eating it there, no shot to get Feehan over at first.
So Mike Ramirez, the hero of Game 1, steps in. So you played there. What years and what position did you play?
I played 2009 to 2012 as a catcher coming in, and former head coach Kevin Edick transitioned me into a pitching role, and I ended up having a decent career, not too bad. Had fun. Got to take this trip down to Russmatt 4 times, so that's never a bad thing.
You said the key word. You had fun.
Exactly.
And that's what this is about. That pitch had to be pulled down. Good job by the catcher Manderson, leaping and from his crouching position to pull it down. Did you have that kind of leaping ability back when you were behind the plate?
Absolutely not. And that's, I think, why they transitioned me to a pitching role. Probably a good move for the team in hindsight.
That's at the knees for a called strike. I mean, you said the key word, and I coach travel soccer, and I coach a couple basketball teams and another rec soccer teams. I coach 4 different teams, and if the kids aren't having fun, there's no reason to be there. That's what it's about. Ramirez lines that towards center field, diving and making the catch. Great play.
Joshua Rodriguez, what a play.
Rodriguez laid out there and going towards left field, was able to lay out, extend his arm, and haul it in.
Another guy who's not playing in his normal position, senior Josh Rodriguez. He's got a great bat, typically a left side of the infield guy. And this year, came out, wants to be in the lineup, move him to center field. Just a good athlete. 2-sport guy for us, played basketball too this season for the Wildcats.
How'd your basketball team do this year?
We made it to the conference Final Four. Good season for Coach Rob Schoner and the Wildcats. Unfortunately, falling in the semifinal to Morrisville State, who they went on to the championship and didn't end up winning, but it was a close game with Lancaster Bible.
And Lancaster Bible won the conference title.
Yeah, they got the auto qualifying bid to the NCAA tournament.
That's going to slip through the left side. Throw's going to be made, but no chance to get Dan Berardi here as the 1-0 pitch splits the gap between the left side.
Yeah, and a good job by Palmer again, ranging to his right to get to that ball. Maybe should have held on to that one. You know, with these deep lines to both sides, you don't want to throw that ball away.
So that'll bring up Lennon Gomez here. Gomez hitting .313 on the year. He grounded out to end the first inning. 2 away to got. That's interesting. That's way inside. He has to spin out of the way.
Yeah, and a good start here by Shara so far. He's gotten through the lineup. 2 outs here, first and second. You know, you want to get something to just get out of the inning. Very powerful offense from what I can see for the Gothic Knights here. Facing the 4-hitter too, so got to be careful here.
In the dirt, and the count now 2-1. Did he swing at that?
Yes, he did.
He did swing at that.
Yep, swung
what
at it.
Happens when you look away?
Yeah, good job by Manderson to block that ball. Very good defensive catcher, so it won't be the last time we see him becoming a brick back there. And here's a steal attempt.
And the Gothic Knights are thrown out 2-5, and the inning comes to a close. So NJC runs itself out of the inning as Lennon Gomez is left at the plate as Bill Feehan is thrown out 2-5, caught stealing at third base. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left on base. And we head to the bottom of the third. No score, NJCU and SUNY Poly. Bob in the third inning here. 5 hits for NJCU. SUNY Poly coming to the plate here in a scoreless third inning. Again, both teams are 4-0. It is mostly cloudy now. And what was a sunny day, it's obviously can't see the clouds because it's pitch dark out now, but the lights are on here at historic Henley Field, where when they played here 100 years ago, there were no lights.
No, sir. No lights here. I don't think the scoreboard was that nice either. Out in right
Probably
field.
not. Play by Gomez. And Vanderbeck on the 1-0 pitch is the first out of the third inning.
Yeah, good job by Gomez getting rid of that ball fast as Vanderbeck was hustling his way down the line, one of the quicker players in blue and gold here.
So that will bring up Flippinger, hitting .333 on the season. Flippinger and then the third baseman Dietz.
Flippinger, a senior this year, seeing a little time in left field. He's their offensive guy out and left. He's the guy they're going to put in there when they want to generate some runs. And, there's a couple defensive replacements for him that I'm sure we'll see somewhere down the line.
One ball, one strike. Gibney with another nice delivery. And it's 1-2. At about 7:50 or so, I'm 7:55. Whenever my daughter FaceTimes me, I'm going to actually pause my mic as that goes back up the middle. Pulsini ranges over to throw, is not in time. Flippinger just beats it out, and that is the first hit of the game for the Wildcats. So a single to second base. And I'll bring up Dietz, the third baseman, with one out. But as I was saying, 7:50, 7:55 or so, I am going to sign off temporarily. A team that I coach in New Jersey is playing in the quarterfinals tonight. We are 3 seed, so we actually finished in a 3-way tie for first place, but because my girls don't listen and play defense as much as I would like them to, and we lost out by, I think, 7 points on the tiebreaker, which is points allowed. Dietz with a line drive single into left field. Fien fires it back in quickly, but back-to-back hits here. And with one out, back to the top of the order, it'll be Labella.
Yeah, just a great piece of hitting by Dietz there. Good fastball on the outside corner. Went out and got it and just hit a hard line drive over the shortstop's head.
So I will sign off at that point for just a moment, and Pat will ride solo for about 5 minutes as I give a pep talk to my girls, and probably going to say the same thing that I say every game: box out. Oh my God, we give up so many second chance rebounds.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, keeping them off the boards there on the offensive side. No second chances.
We have 2 of the tallest players in the league, and we don't box out. One ball, no strikes. That is low, 2-0. The 2-0 from Gibney. That's a called strike. Runners at first and second, and Flippinger and Dietz. Scoreless game, swung on and missed.
And just offering at that off speed. Looks like a little slider. And just not able to even come close there swinging over it. So Labella's going to make an adjustment here.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gibney delivers on the inside corner, throw down the first. He's back safely. 5 strikeouts for Sean Gibney. That is a career high.
Great start for Gibney here. Exactly what you want to do coming into a situation where maybe you're not as comfortable as you would be in your normal role. And he's got the Wildcats just spinning himself into the ground here.
Well, Sean Gibney, if he keeps this up, he's typically one of our guys in the background making the videos hilarious. So he might be able to do that while we interview him tonight.
Yeah, he'll be the guy in the front tonight if he keeps this up.
Now, this is assuming that we're not all exhausted when this day ends, because it has been a long day. And I'm driving down to Fort Myers at 6 a.m. to do those 2 softball games, assuming my body can still handle this. I've gone back and forth. It'll be the second time.
Can't say that I envy you on that there, Ira.
Shallow left, going backpedaling. Legato makes the catch. And the inning comes to a close on what was an 0-1 pitch, I believe. So a pop up to 6, the shallow left. Dietz stranded at first, Flippinger at second. And the Wildcats are not able to break through. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, no score. We've played 3. And we're back for inning number 4 as Lennon Gomez steps in. Gothic Knights, the Wildcats, no score. We are at historic Henley Field in Lakeland, Florida. Ira Thor, Patrick Baker. 2 schools that are not historic baseball powers, but have both had really starts of the year.
Yeah, program best 4-0 for us, and you guys haven't gone 4-0 since well before I was born.
Oh, rub it in, why don't you?
Being a 90s baby here, I can't say I've seen the last time the New Jersey CU went 4-0. So, well, now again.
What year were you?
1990.
Oh, yeah. I was in. What were you born?
November.
I was born. Gomez gets through the left side, sharply hit ball, and that is the 6th hit for the Gothic Knights. Gomez, who was hitting .313 prior to that, we'll see his average climb a little bit as the Gothic Knights once again, for the 2nd time today, have the leadoff man on.
Yeah, a great job by Gomez going down and getting that one. It's a shoestриnger, right by the feet. Can't get over that, can you?
Well, one of the young rising stars in our profession who I've been mentoring since she broke in is actually a 1990 child, and then Olivia Coro at Syracuse, and she's been busting my chops in that for the last few years as well. So you could join that club. Ground ball through the right side. That's a base hit. This is for Tom Pulsini. That moves Lennon Gomez to second. Back-to-back singles for NJCU. Pulsini on the first pitch.
Yeah, that freshman next year, Ira, they're going to be born in 2000.
Hey.
That makes me feel old.
Hey. I don't even want to think about that. My son was born in 03, and I know he's going to go to college eventually, but that's when I'm going to start feeling old, when I got a kid in college. I got a kid who's a freshman in high school right now, and I'm 41, so.
Now, Ira, will you use him as a student worker if he comes to NJCU wearing the green and gold?
Well, I would, but as of right now, he wants to be an engineer, so potentially might go to NJIT. I actually work at NJIT doing game day for basketball, so I've already struck that deal. Line drive, center field, but right at the center fielder who comes in, drops to a knee, and makes the catch. Played well out in center field by SUNY Poly. And that is out number 1. Good job by the center fielder, Joshua Rodriguez.
If he's interested in a lot more cold weather and a couple extra feet of snow from New Jersey, SUNY Poly, heck of an engineering school.
Well, you have a volleyball team.
We do.
And he's playing freshman volleyball. I have a 6-foot, 15-year-old left-handed right side hitter, so.
Might be highly touted coming out here.
Well, let's see him get a little skill first, because I played in high school, won a state championship, was on a team that was ranked in the top 10 in the country. Not that I had anything to do with it. I was just there, but played in college for a few years, so I gave him a challenge to be better than his old man was.
Yeah, a little tutelage here.
Actually, one of the great things about working in this business, I have so many friends who are coaches, and I haven't even had to work with him at all. I've had some of my friends volunteer to work with him who coach volleyball on an everyday basis. I haven't coached volleyball. I coach soccer and basketball.
Yeah, that
baseball.
Networking is very underrated. In just my 3 years, I have a little black book full of coaches' names.
That's a chopper to short, and he one-hops it. Would he have beaten Pena? I don't know. I think with the height of that ball, I think he had to rush it. I think that's an infield single.
I'll give an infield single too, and I think he just maybe reaching the glove, couldn't get quite the best grip on it right off the bat. Just a half a pump fake there, and it was just too much.
Yeah, I think it would have taken a magnificent throw. Don't want to punish the shortstop there, Palmer, and obviously don't never want to punish the hitter. So the infield is in now. The bases are loaded with 1 out for Mike O'Donnell. That's the biggest spot of his young collegiate career, and he swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Not far enough for anybody to advance. No balls, 1 strike, top of the 4th. Sky high, right field. The right fielder, Vanderbeck, makes the catch, but he stumbles, and that's going to allow the run to come in on the sack fly. And then the Gothic Knights are trying to do their patent advancing on the run down in the bases. Is there an actual term for that? I don't know.
Little pickle, maybe. Some
Pickle?
people call it the pickle. I don't know
that.
if there's an actual term. Maybe, that could have been a dangerous throw there by Palmer. He let that one go towards first. A diving stop by Labella over there, just to save the ball going all the way back to the screen. That's a long run. Nobody backing up over there.
So the second baseman, the right fielder conversion right field. The right fielder, Vanderbeck, eventually made the catch, but because he fell to the ground, that allowed Gomez to scramble in with the go-ahead run. 1-0 Gothic Knights. Polsini stays at second. Gomez scores. So it's 1-0. That brings up Castellano, who's hitting .357. He struck out swinging in the second inning.
Yeah, that wind is coming in from right field a little. Snap throw from Manderson to second, not in time.
I just heard somebody say behind us that it may rain tonight, and that might explain why the wind is blowing in.
Yeah, blowing in from right field, and I think Vanderbeck, who's a very, very solid outfielder, just got that drift. You want to stay there. I try to make a play at home when it's that shallow. Shot, made the play though. Get the first out is what they say.
There goes Polsini. Throw on to third. He 2-5. Caught stealing.
So two throwouts for this Manderson behind the plate. First two of the year. Had a run. Pitchers haven't been doing a good job keeping close, but I think that was a assist for Shahara today. As the stats say it all when it comes to the speed of New Jersey City here.
Well, I don't think we're going to check third with that. Here is the second time we've been thrown out at the third. Second time this season we've been thrown out at third. Both happening here. And the second time in the fourth inning, he's caught 2-5. But the Gothic Knights get 3 more hits. They have 8 in the game, and they strike first. We head to the bottom of the fourth. 1-0 Gothic in a battle 4-0 teams. All right, we are back here, bottom of the fourth inning in a really good ball game. The first game was really good, but that one went 10 innings as the Gothic Knights were able to edge Albion 15-14 in a back-and-forth seesaw battle. This has been a pitcher's duel so far as Palmer steps in against Sean Gibney, who already has a career-high 5 strikeouts, and that one is fouled off the screen. It's going to land on top of the SUNY Poly dugout.
Yeah, and I think Palmer's itching to get going here. He looks very frustrated at the plate, trying to figure out this sidewinding pitching here, and something we haven't seen yet this season, and we don't get a lot of opportunity to see live pitching in Utica.
Ground ball, Legato charges, gloves it, throws to first, makes it look easy.
Yes, he did. Smooth as butter.
Now Legato is going to rival the TCNJ All-American shortstop Schindler has the best in that position in the league and in the region, quite frankly. And Legato is playing like he's the best right now. He has done that this entire trip, and quite frankly, his sophomore season, you started to see those signs of brilliance pop out. I've talked about it this entire 4 games that I've called down here, and he has really been impressive thus far. So after the ground out, we'll see Natalizio step in. He's struggling a little bit now, hitting 176 through 4 games, and 1 at bat today, which was a 6-3 ground out.
Yeah, Natalizio is the 4-hitter here for the Wildcats. You want to see him get going, and they're 4-0, and they're 2 and 4 hitters, both struggling so far in the 100s. And if they get going, this Wildcat offense
swung on and missed. That's the 6th strikeout for Sean Gibney. Who is this guy?
Looking like a middle of the rotation starting pitcher. I think that's who he might be here. He's got the wise.
Last night, I was talking about some of the funny stuff that Sean does last night during the interview. And the interview, for those who haven't seen it, is on our Facebook page. And for those who are friends with me, also I put it on my own personal page just because it was that funny. Gibney had a pancake. He cut an eye and a nose and a mouth out and stood behind it with on his face on the interview. And I lost it. Second time he's got me to laugh on air.
What is it, a panko lantern?
Is that an actual term for that?
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up over here.
You guys born in 19 didn't do that. I'm a Gen Xer. 1-1. Chopped foul. Hey, the lights are on.
Hey, we can see again.
The baseball god said, "Let there be light."
Yeah, and Rodriguez is an everyday player, center fielder for the Wildcats now, former infielder, but battled the stomach bug on day 1. Didn't see too much action there.
Sky-high pop-up, foul territory. There's a lot of room out there. Legato sizing it up, and they both overrun it. He and Gomez both raced down the line. They're not used to playing, who would be used to playing with this much foul territory, and they actually both overran the ball.
Yeah, you can almost fit a soccer field over here if you take both sidelines and smash them together.
Now you're talking my language. My outdoor soccer league, which I play in with almost everybody's 40 and older, but it's mostly former D1 players, so they still try to kill you. And we start, if the snow's off the ground, we start in a week. And let's just say, as a goalkeeper, I have to play a little dirty to survive.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're playing with a bunch of D1 guys.
Some of these guys absolutely amaze me that, like at 42 years old, that they still have the skill they have. It's mind-boggling because I don't.
Yeah, and soccer players as a whole are just a different breed of athlete. The hand-eye coordination that I have pales in comparison to the foot-eye coordination that some of these guys have.
I'm good at coming up and challenging you as you're about to take a shot.
Absolutely.
And just pray that I don't get kicked in the face. That's always been my game. And that's ball 4. So the first walk given up by Gibney. And with 2 outs, it'll bring up the DH, Noah Vanderbeck. Probably no relation, but Ramapo College used to have a fine men's volleyball coach who is now actually one of the top referees in the region, Don Vanderbeck. Same spelling. Probably no relation, but you never know.
Hey, maybe I'll ask the Vanderbecks about that in between an inning here. See if
maybe they got an Uncle Johnny
answer
down in Jersey.
Yeah, who knows? Everybody knows somebody from Jersey.
That's the best people I know are from Jersey. You guys from Long Island are pretty good too. Long Island's basically an extension of Jersey.
I think so. I can tell you what, it's not upstate New York.
Well, I had an adventure there last week, and I'll tell you more after this pitch by Gibney, which is down and gloved by Castellano. So our men's basketball team made the NCAAs for the second year in a row as an at-large. And we would have hosted had we gotten out of the first round of our conference tournament. So because of that, we had to get shipped up to Canada, a.k.a. Plattsburgh, as that is lined through the left side for a base hit. Rodriguez on a hit and run goes to third, and he will beat the throw from Bill Feehan. Runners on the corners for the Wildcats with 2 outs.
That's the first time I've seen Noah Vanderbeck pull a ball all week. And his dad told me when he's hitting good, he's hitting the right field, but I'm going to disagree. I think he just hit that one pretty good to left.
And he got that one right on the button. So runners in the corners, and his brother Seth will step in, hitting .353. And I think that's going to be it for Sean Gibney. So Gibney did his job. He went 4 2/3 innings.
And I love to see this. The whole New Jersey City University bench out there. He's waiting for Gibney to come off the mound.
Gibney had the best start of his career. I mean, quite frankly, it's the best Sean ever pitched, period, Finn. So credit to Sean Gibney getting the start here with was probably a tired pitching staff on the 5th game of the trip. And Sean Gibney, 6 strikeouts. What a magnificent effort for the junior from Rutherford. And is this Mike Ramirez? Oh, hey, he finally makes his debut. Mike Ramirez, one of the best lefty pitchers for the Knights in the last decade. And the stats back that up. Well, Mike's filled that gap that we talked about with the graduation of Nick Racino playing center field. He was the hero of Game 1 with the walk-off. Well, now let's see if he's able to maybe get the Gothic Knights through the next few innings and maybe further. Wouldn't be surprised to see if he pitches well, him to go maybe deep into this game. All right, so that also means that the Gothic Knights are going to probably eliminate the DH.
Yeah, it looks that way, and that really changes the game from a coaching perspective for the Gothic Knights. And we'll see how they go here. We might see a patchwork of arms, or we might see Ramirez go deep.
Mike's one of the few guys on the trip who has not pitched. And we knew it was just a matter of time.
Ramirez will come in and face Vanderbeck, Seth Vanderbeck. I keep going to just a last name when you have 2 of the same. You can't do that so much. Confuse the viewers at home. And Seth Vanderbeck, Fippinger, and Dietz.
Got to remember that in stories a lot of times. If you got 2 guys, and you actually have to use the full name in the story. If you can't say Vanderbeck if there's 2 guys. We had the same thing with some of our sports where we have twins. We have 2 twins in men's basketball. 2 twins. We have twins.
Yep. Yeah, we have a set of twins on our men's basketball team too. I think when it becomes the most interesting is when you're searching for pictures of somebody with the twin thing, and you're typing in last names. And
I mean, you could always use the other photo, and nobody will know if they're identical.
Just got to blur out that jersey number if that's in there.
Or if they're unreadable to begin with, you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Well, ours are not, I assure you. I am anti-uniform, as I say.
He knows the movement.
Absolutely. I get a kick out of those pictures on the Facebook page there. But I consult on all of our uniforms now. And I'm making sure that we are, if we're blue, we're yellow numbers. If we're yellow, we're blue numbers, and we're outlined and nice and big.
Well, it started with an educational approach, and it's taken on a life of its own. I'm probably the only guy in the business with his own hashtag. I don't know how the heck that happened, but I did not come up with it.
Yeah, I tried to start one of my own. It didn't really work. PB, the SID, didn't catch on.
Oh, I used to have a drink in college called the PB. When I turned 21, that was the only beer I could afford. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Can't go wrong with a PBR. New York State Fair. There's a great deal on those.
I couldn't afford much back then. Now I've grown up a little bit. I drink Sam Adams.
It's a classy choice for sure. That's Sam Adams. Might need one after this day, Ira.
I'm gonna pause real quick and sign myself off. I'm gonna do a pep talk to my basketball team, and let's let them see me. Hey, hi girls. I'm going to do this one pitch, and Ramirez outside 3-2, and then Pat's going to take us through this. So hold on one second. Put my headset down.
So 3-2 pitch upcoming here. Ramirez facing Vanderbeck. Runners on first and third for the Wildcats. And the pitch is swung on and missed. And Ramirez is out of the inning for the Gothic Knights. Great pitch from Ramirez. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base in the inning for the Wildcats. We'll see Drew Shahara for another inning. He'll face 9-1 and 2 for NJCU. And we'll be right back with more baseball here from Henley Field. And welcome back to Lakeland, Florida. It'll be Castellano, Feehan, and Ramirez for the Gothic Knights. New Jersey City University leading 1-0 in the top of the 5th inning. And there are 4 innings so far for Drew, 7 hits and a run. The lone run coming in the top of the 4th inning.
Leading on, catcher number 15, James Castellano.
So it'll be Castellano as Ira's back.
That's the first FaceTime pep talk I've ever given to a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old girls, and hopefully that's enough. Castellano, Fien, and Ramirez. Ramirez does it again, a strikeout swinging to get out of the threat there, and man, he's having himself a day. A big walk-off hit and then a strikeout to keep this game 1-0 NJCU as we bat here in the 5th. Oh, you know what would be nice? Let me update the graphics. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm impressed you have a graphic on this, to be honest.
I'm impressed I finally was able to get the money to pay for it.
As Castellano fouls that one off into the night, left field side.
I mean, I had some next year, and if anybody with a check would like to write one to Athletic Communications at NJCU, we'll gladly accept it and really up the ante next year. Go 2 or 3 cameras. That's my end goal here.
Yeah, and with the way that all college sports are going, I think it's great how much live coverage there's been. And when I did, it was only 4 or 5 years ago at this point, 6 years. Never had this when we traveled. There wasn't a camera.
Have to worry about being in a blizzard back in the Northeast.
No, you know what? It's staying pretty warm so far. I hate to jinx it, but we had a night game the other day. I was not warm, shivering here in Florida. I felt bad complaining about it. Most of our listeners being in the Northeast dealing with 1.5 feet of snow.
Hey, we are wearing shorts right now at 8 o'clock at night. If I was in Jersey right now, I'd be huddled under some blankets. That's ball 4. Castellano draws the leadoff walk. It'll bring up the top of the order to Bill Fien, who's 1 for 2 with a single. And I said it in the first game broadcast that I got the alert on my phone. NJCU's already closed tomorrow. We never close a day before it. The last time that happened was that huge storm a couple years ago where we got 26 inches of snow, and they knew there was no way to avoid it. So for them to for our leadership to already postpone school means that this is a serious snow event. So in all seriousness, for my friends in Jersey, please be careful, stay off the roads.
Yeah, stay inside, grab some hot chocolate, and watch everybody else shovel their driveways outside. You get a good laugh out of that.
And you can follow the live stats for our softball games tomorrow from Fort Myers if you really need some entertainment. The 0-1, that's line foul down the left field line, floating towards the warning track area.
Yeah, you know, on our way down here, and we're in Utica. Well, I'm just going to preface this conversation with that. We don't cancel school for anything. We have heated walkways. We have small plows, big snow blowers, little snow blowers. Our facilities department does a heck of a job cleaning up, and they canceled school on Friday for that storm that was coming in. And like I said, that never happens at all. So you know this pipeline of nor'easters is wreaking havoc.
Well, that was the storm, and I mentioned this in Game 1 too, that our women's bowling team was on its way up to Buffalo for the AMCC Championship, and they got stuck in the Poconos, not too far from the Brook basketball team, for 21 hours. And that's line down the right field line. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Castellano racing around second on his way to third, and sliding in with a double is Bill Feehan. So Feehan with the double down the right field line, his second hit of the game, and the Gothic Knights have a pair of runners in scoring position with nobody out here on the top of the fifth inning.
Yeah, you know, the best part about that is if they would have made it to Buffalo, they probably would have been okay. Buffalo knows how to handle snow.
Well, when we come back from, assuming that I could ever find the campus again in this storm, I'm going to have the girls come in and we're going to do a little interview session. Since they missed the championship, you know, try to talk a little bit about their experiences. My bowling coach Rel was texting me. He's like, you know, I think they were posting a little bit too much in social media about the experience, and I was like, well, after 21 hours together, I think they needed it to cope. That's line to the right side. Castellano scores. Feehan is going to be held up here as the ball is quickly fired back in by the right fielder Vanderbeck. The second baseman, Natalizio, was actually kind of leaning the other way and didn't have enough time to kind of respond and turn back. I don't think he would have had a chance anyway.
No, that ball was smoked off the bat of Ramirez there. I don't think Natalizio had a shot. I give him all the credit in the world for the max effort diving play there, but leaning towards second base, I don't know if he would have caught that if he wasn't leaning. That's how hard that ball was hit.
Well, that's an RBI. It makes it 2-0, and the Gothic Knights, still with nobody out, have runners on the corners for Dangerous Dan Berardi. Maybe that could be his nickname. I've always needed a nickname for Dan. I think we found it. Dangerous Dan.
Dangerous Dan. I like it. I think that works.
Listen, McGee, if you're watching, you could text me and let me know if you approve of that. Here goes the second. Center field. Ramirez with the steal. That hooks it to the throw. And on the throwing error by the catcher, Feehan scores to make it 3-0.
And that's fortunate that they're going to go down Connor Manderson because that ball was on the money, and it just a little bit of a delay getting over to the base for the shortstop Nate Palmer. But you know that ball sails into center field, and then 2-0 New Jersey City University.
Actually, 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, the second one of the inning. It's now 3-0.
I didn't update my scoreboard here. I'm reading off the screen.
And
It's a rookie move.
You're might be born in 1999, but you've been doing it for a few years. Now your middle ages of SIDism. I just made up a new word. So Berardi. Well, I think we could do that. We already got SID life. Berardi in the air to deep left center field. How far is that going to go? Off the base of the wall. Off the number 22 out there. Berardi chugs into second.
And a good job by Fippinger to just get that ball in quickly. That ball was rocked out there to left field.
Ramirez did not score on the play, and he's getting a little talking to by Coach Smith for not running because that ball was not going to be caught. And he should have scored in that. The question was whether it was going to go out or not. I think it got knocked down by the wind, which is blowing in. But just a screamer off the bat from Berardi.
Yeah, and you know, maybe he was holding there just to see if that ball was going to be caught with the wind whipping around. But, as we'll have a mound visit here from Coach Pfister.
So a double off the left center field fence. Ramirez only goes up one base.
Yeah, I just lost my train of thought there. Started a sentence and just stopped right in the middle trying to figure out what was going on the field there for a second.
All right, so the Gothic Knights aren't able to score there. However, what that does do is it makes the previous unearned run by Feehan now earned because he would have scored anyway.
Yes, it does. And Drew Shahara's not going to like that, but that was a missile.
I'm not good at a lot of things in life, but I am good at figuring out earned and unearned runs. I got to be good at something.
And you know what? That's quite the difficult skill to master with all the nuances of the game of baseball.
Swung on and missed by Gomez. I mean, as I teach the game to my student assistants and they catch on to everything else, the two areas that seem to give people the most problem, number one, remembering to put sac flies.
Always the SF reason. After the play.
Never on. That's for whatever reason, always gets forgotten. And then earned and unearned runs I know are tricky. For those of us who've done this a while, it becomes a little easier. But that's popped in the air down the right field line. And in foul territory, reaching up and making the catch is the first baseman, Labella. And that is out number 1 on the 1-1 pitch. So FF3 down the right field line. Berardi and Ramirez stay put. Tom Pulsini will step in.
Yeah, and you read the NCAA rulebook for baseball. There's a whole section devoted to the earned run. Baseball and softball, really.
I go back. I've done this for years. I will go back in between innings if there's a questionable thing, and I will reread play-by-play just to reassure myself if there's any chance I might be wrong. Fortunately, if they're doing this for 18 years, a lot of this becomes second nature.
Yeah, you've pretty much seen it all at that point, right?
That is hit sharply down the first base side. It's going to roll all the way towards the corner in foul territory. Every once in a while, you still see something that you've never seen before, and you got to give it a little thought. And there's some resources out there. I have a buddy who's actually he used to be the official scorer for the Yankees. He now lives in Florida and does the Rays. That's popped in the air, left side, and the catch is made by the third baseman Dietz. And that is a pop out for out number 2. And now the base running error by Ramirez kind of looms large because Legato comes up. And if NJCU doesn't score here, that's a run left on the table. Legato has a single and a line out to center. He's hit the ball sharply twice, hitting .625. That is a called strike.
Yeah, and it was a good point you brought up. There's a great community of SIDs out there that I throw some questions out into the air and hope for an answer. And I'm going to say 100 times out of 100, somebody will know the answer.
And if somebody doesn't know the answer, somebody's going to say something truly sarcastic.
Absolutely. And those might be more entertaining and more informational than the actual correct answers in some situations.
And that may or may not be where Pat knows me from, are some of the little witty responses that I've tried to make online over the years.
It is. That's the first place I got introduced to Ira Thor is on the Facebook SID group. And a great group of guys and the scoring community and all the help and the brain picking you can do through there is great for a guy like me who came in with just a little bit of experience in the field and was kind of thrown into handling 12 sports all by yourself with a...
In the air, center field, but should be enough room. And the center fielder makes the catch as Rodriguez hits the long fly ball from Legato and Ramirez. Base running mistake. The Gothic Knights are not able to add another run. However, they do add 2 as the Gothic Knights score on a RBI and also on an error. They would have scored. Thean had a double and then a double by Berardi. Thean would have scored on the Berardi double had that error not occurred, but NJCU does leave 2 in scoring position. 5th inning, 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 left on. We head to the bottom of the 5th in a 3-0 game. 4-0 NJCU, 4-0 SUNY Poly in Sunshine State.
Outfielder number 10, Matt Fippinger.
Bottom of the 5th inning, it's Flippinger, Dietz, and LaBella as SUNY Poly tries to draw back into this game. Inside, ball 1. So far, a run in the 4th and 2 in the 5th. The Knights 3 runs, 11 hits, no errors. Sean Givney and Mike Ramirez have combined to 3 hit the Wildcats. And I believe the first ever meeting between the teams, I went back in the record books I have. What was the first year of your program?
1992 was the first year. 93 was the first time we were in NCAA.
Polsini is able to go to his right. The throw offline. Berardi got the tag down. Dan Berardi. First of all, Tom Polsini, difficulty of getting to that ball. The throw was off the mark, but Berardi backed him up and was able to apply the tag. What a play between the two of them.
Yeah, great job by Berardi just to have the mindset to catch that ball first and then slap that tag on Fippinger and got him right in time.
So a 4-3 ground out up the middle. That's in the dirt to Dietz. Dietz hitting .375. He has a single to his credit today.
Dietz, a versatile player for the Wildcats. Can play a little bit of third, short, second. He can go to the outfield if you need him. And this is going to be the 3rd start for the sophomore.
That is fouled off to our left, landing very close to where I parked my rental car. And I'm a little bit nervous now, seeing where that ball landed.
I hope you pay, $4 for insurance nowadays? Hope you put that on there.
Well, I have, fortunately, we're using the university enterprise account. We have an account. I've never actually taken advantage of it until this year, and I actually had to use it twice this week because we went up to Plattsburgh for the NCAA tournament, and I knew it was going to snow, and I didn't have, my wife has the SUV. I had to leave it with her, so I rented an SUV. Of course, it took me 7 hours to drive up to Plattsburgh because I'm driving up the mountain in a snowstorm, and, driving off a mountain to my imminent demise is not on my bucket list.
No, absolutely not. And those roads going to Plattsburgh are a little treacherous for sure.
Well, I made it safely, and 7.5 hours later, just got to see our men's basketball team blow a 14-point lead in the second half and get eliminated. Inside, ball 4.
Deach check swing on that, and they're going to check down at first. It looks like he didn't go.
So that was my first rental, and that one obviously was for self-preservation. Down here this year, I got a car and has been able to go back and forth between baseball and softball to help out both teams. So I'll end up doing 4 baseball and 4 softball games on this trip. It's pretty, that way everybody's happy.
That's dedication.
That might be insanity.
We're lucky enough to be playing in North Myrtle Beach, so I don't think driving back and forth would be an option for me.
Then we really have to get you committed.
I got to say one thing about that tournament in North Myrtle Beach. The Fast Pitch Classics does a great job. They have web cameras on all the fields.
I saw that. I was there 2 years ago.
And they live stream everything, which is fantastic for me.
I was there 2 years ago when our current juniors were freshmen, and it was the first time I traveled solely with softball. It's either a little bit here, a little bit there. It was the first softball solo trip, and definitely had a good time with the young ladies and the softball. I was the only male on the trip, so they started calling me Aunt Ira, and the nickname is stuck with them, or at least until this current group graduates.
Well, hey, you get your own hotel room in that case for sure.
Oh, I had my own room, and
yeah.
Let's just say that it was nice to actually spread out. And usually you have a roommate on these trips, or in the case of baseball, there's 5 of us in one hotel suite because we're renting the townhouses.
Yeah, great
condos.
Setup. Great setup from Russmatt on those condos for sure. We're in the Holiday Inn in Winter Haven, and I get the privilege to room with our bench coach, Bob Ritchie, who's...
Could be 2. Legato flips to Polsini. On to first in the dirt. It'll just be 1. But Legato does a great job of pulling that down and starting the 6-4 force. So LaBella reaches on the fielder's choice. Dietz on the force is out 6-4. So 2 away for Manderson, the catcher. 1 for 2 today with a single and a ground out to second base. I actually enjoy the camaraderie with the baseball coaches in the house and in the condo, and just I don't know if I was talking about this yesterday in our first game, but just hearing them strategize, like they spend 4 hours sometimes determining the lineup. It's been easier this year because, there's a lot of constants, but there's been some years where it's taken 4 hours to come up with the lineup for the next day. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. That is lined deep to the left center field. Gap's going to one-hop the wall. LaBella, he'll round third. He will score. Anderson's digging for third. The throw is, it hits the runner.
Right off his helmet.
Hit him in the helmet, and he's going to score as well. And it's 3-2. I'm trying to figure out who threw the ball.
Mobbed by the Wildcats. He gets mobbed by the bench over there.
Did you see who threw that ball?
I believe it was the shortstop coming over. Looks like shortstop took that first cut. Second baseman was trailing just as a backup. But the throw came in from the left fielder, Feehan, right on the money.
Yeah, it's Legato, just unlucky.
Shortstop, number 12, Nate Palmer.
So that's a triple off the left center field fence and RBI, and he advances on the E6 throwing error with an asterisk. LaBella is earned. Manderson currently is not.
And we'll see what Palmer can do here.
I'm going to do a comment here, and this is where not turning the double play comes back and bites the Knights, giving up 2 runs here. It's a 3-2 ball game now.
And that's probably one of the best hit balls we've seen. Transferred from Cortland. So came from a good baseball school, as that one's in there for strike 2. To Palmer, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, that's the first error of the year, Legato, and what an unlucky one.
Yeah, you hope for his sake that he's single here. No such luck.
Strikeout swinging as Palmer goes down on strikes. And the inning comes to a close, but the second run becomes unearned. Poly, 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left. It is a 3-2 ball game as we head to the 6th. Now back here for the top of the 6th was saying hello to Kyle Kafer's dad, Don. Great guy, except for the fact that he's an Eagles fan.
Very unfortunate.
That's a 1 blemish on his record. Juan Pena will lead off. Of course, Kafer was the winning pitcher in game number 1. They 15-14 10-inning win over Albion for the Gothic Knights to move to 4-0. It'll be Pena, O'Donnell, and Castellano, 7, 8, and 9 for NJCU. See, I got to check resumes a little closer when I hire in my office. If I knew Kyle was a Eagles fan when he was a freshman, I don't know. I think that resume would have gone to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, in your interviews, that needs to be like question 3. Like, Do you have a sports background? Are you willing to work weird hours? And are you a Giants fan or not?
Exactly. You are a Giants fan?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And that's a leadoff single here for Pena, who singles to right field. Mike O'Donnell due up here looking for his first collegiate at bat. 12th hit for the Gothic Knights. 3 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error for the Knights. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for SUNY Poly. So O'Donnell steps in. Swung on and missed.
You know, I looked up at the scoreboard for the first time in a while, and that number 12 is up there, and 3 runs. So it's been an interesting game. You see 12 hits. You usually expect, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs here, but
well, the last game we had less hits than Albion. We only stranded 3 the entire game, so when we did get on, meaning NJCU, it was a very efficient time on base. Albion left 9 on in the loss. 1-1 pitch coming here by Shara. And that's lined to left center field for his first collegiate hit, and will roll all the way to the wall. Pena around third. He's going to be held up there. Mike O'Donnell, welcome to the NCAA.
great piece of hitting right there. Lined it right over the shortstop. Hard line drive, made it all the way to the gap before Rodriguez, the center fielder, could get over and get it in.
It's always nice when the first hit you have as a collegian is an extra base hit. And he stands there looking around to see if his sister Amber from our women's volleyball team is hiding out somewhere. She's probably at the beach. And I'll bring up Jan Castellano. Castellano has walked and scored. He's also struck out, hitting .357.
And if I'm Coach Pfister, that one right there might get the bullpen working for the Wildcats. Shahara over 75 pitches now. You might want to think about going to somebody else. Shahara pitched on Sunday. 2 innings earned the win for the Wildcats.
We were talking about the Eagles, and you might have seen this on one of the SID groups that we're in. I don't know if you're on that one, but our men's soccer coach is from South Jersey, and when they won the championship, I have outside my office some pictures of the last Super Bowl for the Giants, Manning and Victor Cruz and Strahan, some others. And that's off the plate. I walk into the office, and I have Eagle pictures not taped on it. He was respectful. Taped over every one of my photos, and it took me about half the day to realize that he had trolled me.
Yeah, he got you.
He got me. I stood there for a few seconds when I realized I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And he got me good, and I give him credit for an excellent troll job. And when when your colleague talks smack for weeks, you kind of deserve that outcome.
Yeah, you can take it lightheartedly this year because the Giants, unfortunately, weren't in the hunt.
Hey,
this time around.
We got a great draft pick. I'm
Absolutely.
happy.
If you're gonna not have a great season, you got to do it the way the Giants did, and not be like the Jets and overachieve. Sorry to all my Jets fans out of there. Overachieve and end up with mid-round pick.
Yeah, that's useless.
It doesn't help you much. It would have been more beneficial this year to just pack it in, maybe get yourself a quarterback.
I'm looking for Barkley from Penn State. I'm hoping he's still there at number 2.
Yeah, a little solidification of that front 5 would be really nice for us.
Hey, they can dance.
They can dance.
Learn that during the Super Bowl.
Well, either that or we need to teach Eli to dance away from some defensive linemen.
Oh, he's the one lifting Odell up.
Yeah. By far my favorite Super Bowl commercial.
That was the best commercial of the year.
And glad to see Odell Beckham's back active after that injury.
Ball 4, Castellano walks. The bases are loaded for Bill Feehan with nobody out. He's hitting .368. 2 hits today, a single and a double and a run scored. And we're going to have a meeting at the mound, and this very well could be it for Charo. Yeah, the New York Post, I think it was, had maybe it's the Daily News, one of them had a great cover the next day, and it said the Giants win the Super Bowl with a picture of Eli holding up Odell underneath that ... best advertisement, and then at the very bottom of the page it said, "Oh, and the Eagles beat the Patriots." That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But the only thing I took out of the commercial the first time I saw it is, man, Odell Beckham looks good on the foot, looks good on the ankle.
It looks like that sucker's healed up.
He'll be back next year. Great thing for the Giants fans.
I don't know if you're on the things that annoy page.
Oh yes,
so I don't know if you saw my little post about our coach trolling, but it was Coach Cullen. If you are watching, and you might be, I know you were watching earlier. Fantastic! I will remember that for years. That was very well done.
And a lot of respect for not destroying the Giants' pictures.
This is what happens when you work with really respectful coaches. I love our coaches. Every single one of them is great to work with. No balls and one strike. Bill Fiend with the bases loaded and nobody out. Pushes that down the left field line. It's going to go foul. Chara, by the way, has thrown 94 pitches. So, middle reliever that's thrown some big-time innings.
Yeah, that's got to be a career high for him. Unfortunately, that's not a stat we typically keep for the pitch count here. So I would not know, but I will say this is one of the better starts we've seen from Shahara. I think he had 2 last year. Struggled a bit, high ERA over 6. This year doing a pretty good job to keep the quite impressive Gothic Knight offense almost in check here. We'll see how he does with no outs and bases loaded.
Well, he's going to get a visit here from his catcher, Connor Manderson. 2 seniors. Drew Shari, a senior from Springville, New York. Manderson, a senior from New Hartford, New York. As you would imagine, the SUNY Poly roster is heavily New York-based, and I don't see a single player from outside of New York as I page the roster, but that's normal. NJCU doesn't have a single player this year from outside of New Jersey.
Yeah, and being a SUNY school, it doesn't make a ton of sense for out-of-staters to come in and pay that higher rate. And
oh, I forgot. We have a matchup of state schools.
Yes, we do.
I totally blanked on that in the pregame. Oh, we have 2 state schools playing here in Florida. Usually private against private, because 80% of the schools in D3 are private schools.
Yeah, not too many. We used to be in the SUNYAC, and the SUNYAC was all state schools from the New York area. And we were the smallest and least successful out of the bunch. We dropped into the NEAC and started to grow our program a little, which was a good move for us.
Fian strikes out. So Mike Ramirez, now the pitcher of record. You got a big strikeout to keep the lead intact. That's off the chest of the catcher Manderson. It doesn't roll far enough onto that on-deck track that goes to the dugout.
Yeah, I think a few more feet it would have caught the hill.
You know what happened as it got to that area, it kind of just died. And at that point, Pena at third kind of realized, you know what, I got to put the brakes on. So ball 1.
And a good idea with 1 out here, and you're in the top of your order, so definitely some guys who can get the job done from a situational standpoint.
Ball 2. Ken Ramirez was the hero of the first game today for NJCU. SUNY Poly, this is, I don't know, did you guys play this morning?
We did not. We had half a day off.
Oh, so they've been sitting around watching us play 10 innings of baseball, and this one is going to go at least 9.
Yeah, we have a light schedule the next 2 days. We're here for a 9 inning and tomorrow.
That goes through the right side for a base hit. Pena scores. O'Donnell will be held up as the ball comes in quickly by the right fielder Vanderbeck to keep NJCU to 1 run, but Mike Ramirez comes through with an RBI single, and the lead is 4-2.
Yeah, really good piece of hitting by Ramirez there. Shahara, again, just a little up in the zone, and maybe you have some fatigue setting in here, nearing 100 pitches in his season debut as a starting pitcher. And I hear some action in the bullpen. I just can't tell you who it is. Can't see from this angle.
Dan Berardi steps in. That is pitch number 100 from Shara. 62 for strikes. That's a fairly good percentage. 14 hits for the Knights, just 4 for SUNY Poly. However, it's just a 2-run lead for the NJCU after each team scored twice in the 5th. The 0-1, and that goes to the third baseman who fires a strike home onto second. First, I should say, it is a 5-2-3 double play, and the Wildcats get out of further trouble. We're already on 1 hop, and the third baseman for the Wildcats, that's Bradley Dietz, throws home. The catcher Manderson steps on the plate. And a 5-2-3 double play.
That's huge for the Wildcats here. You know, you want to get out of that inning with your starting pitcher intact, and maybe now we see a move going to the bullpen. Big play by the duo of Dietz and Manderson, and you know, I didn't think Manderson had time to get it over there, but he fired a strike right over to LaBella and just got him.
It was a perfect throw down the first, and that ends the 6th for the Gothic Knights. But they do get a run back. 1 run on 3 hits. They strand 2. With the double play coming with the bases loaded. Bottom of the 6th coming up here from historic Henley Field when we come back. Cleans out whatever issue I was having, you know, because you know what would a live feed from Florida be without buffering? That's hit in the air deep to left field, back towards the wall, and just shy of the wall. The long fly by Legato, who doesn't miss his 2nd homer of the day by much.
Yeah, that thing was a big league fly ball. That one got up over the lights, I think.
I think that was a 1-0 count if I was paying attention at all.
I think you're right. I think it was a 1-0 count.
I don't know. I'm doubting myself now. 2-1 maybe? Maybe it was 2-1. But
well, that shows how much both of us are. We turned into the SUNY Poly track team a little, and Valvo adjusted well, to say the least, as a cross-country runner.
Popped in the air to right field. And the catch is made by Vanderbeck, and the inning comes to a close as Pena flies out on the 1-0 pitch. So Pena leaves Pulsini, who walks stranded at first base. And the inning comes to a close. No runs, no hits, 1 left. 7th inning stretch here in Lakeland. 4-2 Gothic Knights lead in a battle of unbeatens. Bottom of the 7th inning in what has been a pretty good ball game. It's now 4-2 NJCU over SUNY Poly. Rich Hughes calling balls and strikes behind the plate. He was in the field the last game, and Al Fennison is the field umpire. And I say that because I haven't said it yet today, and it'd be nice to use a note that I had written down.
Yeah, we read him for a reason, I guess, right?
It'd be nice if I actually looked at what I wrote. That is sawed off to our left at 1-2.
Yeah, Noah Vanderbeck, 333 so far this season. 0 for 2 today, strikeout and a ground out. But this is a kid that the Wildcats are hoping will be the NEAC Rookie of the Year. So far, he started in all 5 games for them in right field.
And caught him looking.
Jinxed him.
So Vanderbeck becomes another strikeout victim for Mike Ramirez. Ramirez has had a really good outing so far. 5 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. He's allowed just 1 hit, 2 runs. I have to go back. I think I have to fix one of the runs I listed as earned when it should have been unearned. I have to take a look at that in a second. Meanwhile, he's walked just 1. Gibney and Ramirez have combined for 11.
Yeah, Wildcats struggling to
Strikeouts.
put the ball in play here, and they're just a lot of swinging and missing, and I think more looking. I have him down here for an earned run, too, because I believe the run scored on that triple by Manderson. If I'm not mistaken, that was off Ramirez. I can double-check my records here, too.
Well, no, here's because it's weird because on here it's listed as unearned, but in the stats it's not crediting him that way. Let me see how that goes down because the ball after the triple by Manderson hit him in the helmet and the next play was a strikeout. Oh, I see what the problem is. I know what the problem is.
As Fibberger watches that one in the dirt, count runs to 2-2. Fippinger 375, 1 for 2 today with a ground out and a single. As he grounds that one to shortstop, Legato over. He'll make the throw to first in time for the second out of the inning.
What's the count on that? Anybody know?
I had 2-2.
Do you have 2-2? We're going to go with 2-2 as I fix that unearned run. It is that earned run is now earned. Earned run is now unearned. Oh my God, can't even talk at this hour. And that is a 6-3 ground out. So now officially, as I look at the stats, 2 runs, 1 earned.
And hitting number 24, John Andrews.
Good thing I caught that. Oh my gosh, Ramirez would have had an ERA hit that he didn't deserve.
Yeah, and we have a pinch hitter here for SUNY Poly. It'll be number 24, John Andrews. Now, I'm not a betting man, but I would say that he's going to go play second base, and that Alizio will move over to third. We'll see in the next half.
Andrews is a junior, 6 foot 165, out of Appalachian, New York. So I was talking about after I was in Plattsburgh. It's 20 minutes from the Canadian border. Had to do it. Went to Canada, even though, my God, it took an hour and a half combined with customs go in and out to drive around in Canada for an hour. But I'd never been to Quebec, and I took 7 years of French, so I had to,
Try it out one time,
Yeah,
right? Might as well get some use out
can't
of all
really
that
speak
French.
it too much anymore, but I was at least able to read it. As that is off the glove, goes to the backstop, 2-1. And then I came back, and I saw a sign, and I can't put it up on the broadcast. It would be great, but it was a green sign. It said Canada this way. It said Vermont this way. And I'm like, you know what? Life is full of choices. I'm going to go the other way. And so I went to Vermont. I had to have lunch at some point. I'd never been to Vermont. It was the only state on the entire eastern seaboard I'd never been to. So I had corn chowder in a little village in Vermont and knocked that off my list. Strike 3 looking. Second strikeout of the inning for Mike Ramirez. And NJCU still leads by 2 through 7 innings. 6 strikeout for Ramirez. He and Gibney have combined for a dozen Ks. We will head to the 8th inning here at historic Henley Field when we come back. Back in the 8th inning, after we've just made the clarification that if you land in an airport of a state, it does not count. You physically have to be in the state and do something. You could use the restroom.
Passing through driving.
Driving, hey, listen.
That counts.
As long as you drive through or get out of the car. Mike O'Donnell lines that one foul down the right field line. O'Donnell, his first career hit came in the 6th inning when he doubled. He was eventually thrown out at the plate on a 5-2-3 inning-ending double play. But NJCU has 14 hits. They lead 4-2, trying to move to 5-0. And they also did that in 1981. Ground ball towards shortstop, and the throw is in time as Palmer throws out O'Donnell.
Yeah, and you can attest to it this week. Driving is, in fact, a tiring task. So that definitely should count if you're driving through the state.
Well, I mean, after 7.5 up to Plattsburgh, and then now after I got my Quebec and Vermont pit stops out of the way, 5 hours back, the 5 hours round trip from here to Fort Myers and back with the sunroof actually open is a lot easier.
Get to open the windows, get a little fresh air in there. You don't want to do that in Plattsburgh or Canada at this time of the year.
No, unless you just really like to torture yourself with frigid air. I mean, listen, if you're a Winter Olympian, you love this kind of weather, but, if I'm out on skis, I don't want to be anywhere near cold stuff.
Yeah, we actually, speaking of Winter Olympians, shout out to Erin Hamlin. Her brother, Sean Hamlin, is a Wildcat fan. She's the U.S. Olympic luge representative, and I think she medaled and got the silver this year in the Winter Olympics. And
that's a scary sport.
That is death wish is what I think when I see that.
Luge, bobsled, the skeleton.
You got a lot of sharp surfaces and a lot of really hard surfaces.
I mean, the best thing about the Winter Olympics is coming up with new possible sports as Jan Castellano faces a 1-2 count. So the best idea I had this year is ski jump football.
Ski jump football.
So here's the idea. Tom Brady's got to retire at some point. Peyton Manning's retired. Eli's going to retire. That's popped in the air. Palmer is going to settle underneath it and make the catch for route number 2 on the P6. So all these great quarterbacks have to retire at some point. So for the Winter Olympics in 2022, I want to see ski jump football come out. And here's the idea. So you go down the ski jump, they fire you past. If you catch it and land on your skis, you win a gold medal. Straight up right there.
Gold medal for the jumper and the thrower?
No, that's just they got retired.
Maybe we throw out like a jugs machine or something?
They're retired. They got to find something to do. They don't need a gold medal. But if you're Peter, Schwartz something from Germany, and Schwarzkopf, and you land on your skis and catch a football from Tom Brady, you deserve to win something.
Absolutely.
Straight gold.
It's a future for Eli. Hopefully he can stay healthy, getting hit that much.
I also have the idea of bobsled drive-through. So you set up a McDonald's window on the bobsled course, and you go down the bobsled, and the driver has to stick his hand out of the bobsled and grab the order from McDonald's as he's going by. And if you don't grab it successfully, you're penalized 30 seconds.
I feel like that could be a gymnastics-type judging system, too. That the Russian judge will always be a little harder, giving you, like, the 7.8. Everybody else will be straight 9s. Yeah, I could see that. He stuck the soft drink. He stuck the soft drink.
There's a few others. I'm trying to remember what the other one I came up with.
I have never played this game. I will never watch the Olympics the same again.
That's a blooper. And it's going to fall into shallow left field. So a 2-out base hit for Bill Feehan on a 2-1 pitch. So Bill Feehan with his 3rd hit of the game. With 2 away, keeps the inning alive. Eric McDowell, who used to be at Union, former COSIDA president, one of the all-time greats in our business, used to do this all the time with the Summer Olympics. So if he's watching, I doubt he is, but if he's watching, he would love this conversation right now. What's the other one? I had one with the...
There's got to be one with curling, too. I mean, although curling is my favorite Olympic sport now.
I want to start a curling team.
We actually have a curling club at SUNY Poly, and they've been doing phenomenally well lately. I'd be surprised if they don't become a varsity team in the next couple of years. They're competing with the Division I level curling teams, and they're coming in first place in a lot of these tournaments. I don't have stats on them or anything, unfortunately, because they are a club through our student association rather than a team. But curling is a heck of a sport, man.
Do we have a fan running in the field?
No, I think we have that's our trainer, Kira Kenyon.
Okay.
She's going to come out and she's going to check on Fippinger there after the dive.
She's wearing shorts. That's how I got thrown off there. I was like, the fan on the field, if this is the NFL, we have to pan the camera somewhere else. And a lot. All right, so we have a break in the action here, so let's do a couple things. First of all, there's head coach Jerry Smith having a conversation with Mike Ramirez, who's in line to be the winning pitcher if this lead can hold up. We saw the meeting on the mound there for the Wildcats, and there is the fan on the field. Oh, just kidding, that's the SUNY Poly athletic trainer. And we are allowed to show this because this is not a blacked-out NFL game.
Yeah, and Kira's been itching for some action lately. Traveling with the baseball team, most of your job is ice and water bottles at this point. It's not a high-impact sport for the most part. So I'm sure she didn't mind getting that little jog to left field in, warm up a little bit here, brisk Florida night.
We got a fan on the field. There goes Fian. And he will slide in feet first with the steal. Called strike to Ramirez. There are 2 outs. Can the Gotham Knights get an insurance run?
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of that from the Wildcat pitchers. Valvo with a full leg kick there. Really no attempt to hold Feehan on at first base, and Manderson didn't have a shot to throw him out.
No balls, 1 strike. That's also a called strike here. Valvo facing his counterpart here in Ramirez. Both are the second pitchers used by their team today.
And I'm surprised that number is so low for SUNY Poly here. It's the original plan coming in here was to kind of piece it together once we got through Shahara, and they were hoping for 4 out of him, and he made it all the way through the 6th inning.
No, he had a really good, solid performance today, and his coach has got to be pleased with his effort. Poly will take a look at their upcoming schedule in a moment after this pitch. 1-2 is the count here to Mike Ramirez. And Fian dancing off of second base. Ball number 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Wildcats are 4-0. Wins over Westminster, PA 2-1 in 10 innings and 11-8. That happened on Sunday. And then on Monday, they had another doubleheader with Nebraska Wesleyan, 7-5 and 16-15. What are you guys trying to copy our last game?
That's a football game for sure. And you know what? There were the first, I want to say, 10 spots on that scoreboard were full of runs. There was 3 innings total where 0 runs were scored, 3 halves.
That changed pretty quickly, apparently.
It was a long game.
Ramirez, a foul tip, and that is held by the catcher for strike 3. So Ramirez down on strikes to end the 8th inning. For NJCU, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base. Bottom of the 8th inning will be coming up here when we come back. Bottom of the 8th inning here at historic Henley Field in Lakeland, Florida. Ira Thor, Patrick Baker, two teams that are 4-0. One of them is going to come out of this contest with their first blemish of the year. It's been a fun game to do. Myself from NJCU, Pat from SUNY IT, as I used to call them.
Yeah,
and
a couple name changes in our history.
What other names did you had? I knew you guys as SUNY IT when we were in the same league for men's volleyball.
Yeah, we were, I believe we started as SUNY Tech, then we were SUNY Utica Rome, we were SUNY Tech at Utica Rome, and SUNY IT for a few years, and now I think we've settled in on a name that we can all live with in SUNY Polytechnic Institute, SUNY Poly for short. But through the years, we've remained the Wildcats, so at least one thing is the same here through the name changes. But blue and gold is a new color combo for us. When we were IT, we were blue and a light gray. And before that, we were the fantastic color combo of nice play by Ramirez there.
LaBella on a 1-2 pitch hit a rope right back up the middle. Mike Ramirez just sticks out his glove and makes the catch. I was talking with his family last year. His dad had a Corvette on the spring trip. You know, really awesome car. It was fun just to watch him driving around in the parking lot with it. And immediately, Ramirez called into action here on the line out up the middle. So one out.
Isn't that the best part of renting a car, is getting to drive something maybe a little more fun or a little different than what you've got?
Well, so this is a story. So I get to the airport, and I knew I was going to probably have to have an SUV for this trip. But I walk into Enterprise, and walking in front of me, or standing right in front of me, was this brand new, beautiful Porsche. And I was like, I want to, but I feel as if renting a Porsche on the Enterprise account for the school probably would get scrutinized. So I chose not to do that because I thought that would probably not be a good decision for job security. So I got the small SUV
they might be auditing all your receipts if you go ahead and get a Porsche there. Check all the travel expenses.
Wait, you had to fill it with jet fuel? What?
Yeah, so Manderson goes down swinging there. Interesting story about Connor Manderson. So Kevin Edick has been our head coach for a super long time, right? And his father was actually Coach Edick's first starting shortstop back in 1992. And now in his last season, Connor Manderson was the catcher. So a career capped by Mandersons, which is something I'm sure you don't hear every day.
Those family stories are always good, and that makes, obviously, a program's history a lot more fun when you have those kind of connections. Ramirez, after a line out and then a strikeout of Manderson, an 0-2 pitch here to Palmer, and that's chopped foul. So going back to Manderson, actually, after our first pitch ball, I think it was 3 straight strikes as Ramirez was able to recover. And, you know, Ramirez has thrown 61 pitches, 41 strikes.
That's a great ratio.
That's in here to deep center field. Playable, however, for Pena, who makes the catch. So fly out to center. 8th inning, SUNY Poly goes in order. We will head to the 9th. The Gotham Knights still lead by 2. They have a 15-4 margin in hits today, but they lead by 2. Still anyone's game as we head to the 9th. really in the ninth inning. Now I decided to update the graphic. And Dan Berardi, Lennon Gomez, Tom Pulsini will try to add on to what is a 4-2 lead for the Knights. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. Recapping, we are at historic Henley Field, former home of the Detroit Tigers. They played here in Lakeland, Florida, last in the 1950s, but 100 years ago or so, this park opened. Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and some of the all-time greats came through, and there's an old locker room underneath the stadium. That is where they used, to change and get dressed for these minor league, spring training games. So there's a lot of history on this site.
Yeah, I saw right outside the restrooms, there's some nice little architectural details. They have a nice picture embedded in the wall of a couple of old baseball players from the Detroit Tigers. I don't know them off the top of my head who they are, but they must be important if they made it to the wall. And I think that was dated 1937.
That's insane.
If I'm not mistaken. So
that's
how far that's been for sure.
You don't see this level of detail really in parks anymore. There's some nice-looking ballparks, but a lot of them are cookie-cutter.
Right, and especially the spring training homes.
Yeah, obviously they're not used that long. Just to see this attention to detail in these old parks, and there's not so many of them left, so anytime you have a chance to be in one, especially in a setting like this for a college tournament, you really appreciate the experience.
Yeah, we're going to get the opportunity, SUNY Poly will, to play in the stadium over at the Chain of Lakes, former home of the Cleveland Indians. I think the first opening scene of one of my favorite movies of all time, Major League, was shot there.
Now you're speaking my music.
And, this is the first year on all these bus rides. This is my 8th bus ride down here to Winter Haven, Florida. That used to be the first movie that was thrown on the bus, and this year we didn't watch it at all. Very disappointed.
And that's sawed off to our right.
So I might have to download Major League onto the iPad and maybe watch it just by myself on the way home. And
just
see.
To keep tradition alive?
Yeah, I got to say, though, starting 4-0, maybe we'll never watch that movie again, Superstitions.
Berardi in the air, right center. And the catch is made.
Yeah, these kids figured out some way to play PlayStation 4 on a laptop screen in the back of the bus. They were playing NBA 2K18. Like, man, we never did that. It was sleep for 15 hours and watch 6 or 7 hours worth of movies. But
I can't imagine a bus ride that long. I have a personal limit. Unless I'm driving with my family to Florida for Disney or something like that, like we did when my kids were younger, 12 to 14 hours is kind of my max, and especially if I'm not the one behind the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is a long ride. It's a really, really long ride. Can't understate that. But the bus company does a nice job. We switch drivers a couple times, keep them fresh, and we leave at 6 p.m. So
what do you do with the other driver? Leave him on the side of the road?
They get left at a hotel with a rental car, so maybe they get a couple hours of sleep and head out. But I never actually thought about what the other drivers do, to be honest with you.
That's a better story. Yeah, we just left them on the side of the interstate.
Yeah, I-81. You'll be finding a couple of Wade Torres drivers.
The 0-2, that's fouled off to our right. That's my wife on the line. I think I'll answer and talk during the broadcast. Hey, honey, I'm broadcasting a baseball game right now. Did we win? Wait, what? Oh, that's not good. I think we lost the game. That's really sad. Well, the Gotham Knights trying not to lose this game. 0-2. And time is called by Lennon Gomez.
This is the multitasking I was talking about before, Ira. He could answer a phone, do a radio broadcast, play-by-play, no problem.
And that is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Umpire turns around and just lets us know 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's 1-2. All right, is the count. 1-2 right here to Lennon Gomez. My daughter's still on the line. She's claiming we lost the game by a basket. Oh, yeah, she's playing a prank on me. They won by 20. I had a feeling. See, Kendra can't hear the game going on right now. My 11-year-old daughter. I had a feeling that they would win okay today. So congratulations, Kendra, on the win. Oh, she's hanging up at me right now. She didn't want to be part of these festivities.
Well, I'm assuming with 20-point win, they must have done a real good job boxing out.
My pregame speech on FaceTime hopefully paid off. Gomez goes down on strikes, and he's pointing to where he thought that pitch was, and he gets tossed from the game. Oh, my.
The umpire put a little extra pep in his step there when he threw him out, too. A little dance move. I think he took a little joy in throwing him out. But I agree with Gomez on that one. That was a little outside.
I've never seen an umpire on a spring trip ever throw somebody out until now. First time ever. Ever.
Well, there's one of those things you say, you still see something new every once in a while. It'll be 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. And
I got to put that in the notes here that Landon Gomez ejected from the game for arguing balls and strikes.
And
Tom Pulsini rips that one foul. Well, that's a first. That's definitely added to my new experiences list right there. I got my first ever technical foul as a coach about 3 weeks ago for arguing with the referees. Kind of did it on purpose. I'm not going to lie. It's a called strike. I thought all game long our girls were kind of getting beaten up, and we were going to lose the game anyway. Might as well just make sure that they're reminded that it's supposed to protect the players a little bit. So I got my first ever tee. I've probably coached 250 or so basketball and soccer games combined. First ever yellow or tech ever.
And it'll be a memorable one. The beautiful thing about that is, you don't have to send any technical foul or ejection forms to your conference office. I don't know if you guys do that. But
if I got a second one, I would have had to. I would have missed the next game.
See, where every technical foul gets sent into the NEAC with an explanation. So I tell all of our girls and guys and coaches, help me out a little. I don't want to do any paperwork here.
My thing, especially with youth sports, is protecting the players. I mean,
absolutely.
The kids want to win. Obviously, you like them to win, but my thing is I want to protect the players, and if I feel they're not being protected as a coach, I will always say something. And, maybe it was a little too vocal there, but I made my point. And then I had to sit on the bench for the rest of the game. That's the one thing with youth sports. If you do get attacked, you have to sit on the bench. You can't stand up anymore, and I get antsy sitting on the bench. It reminds me when I was a player myself, and I spent a lot of time sitting on the bench.
When I was coaching, I was a pitching coach for Coach Edick for SUNY Poly for a couple of years after I graduated, before I took this position, and I'm a pacer. I pace up and down the dugout for a full 7 or full 9 innings, no matter who's on the mound or how many innings we're up. You just can't stay still.
It's always hard being a pitcher because you only play so many innings per year if you don't play another position.
Yeah, I learned how to juggle. That was a good one. It was fun in the bullpen, learning how to juggle.
3-2, and Pulsini stays alive here.
Come up with a lot of fun games out in the bullpen. It's a shame for these guys in the SUNY Poly bench. Coach Pfister doesn't let the pitchers hang out in the bullpen. He wants them in the dugout. I completely understand where he's coming from, but it's not as fun.
And that is low, so Pulsini is able to work out the 2-out walk, his second straight plate appearance that ended in a walk. And Pulsini's been on base very quietly 4 times today, 2 singles, a pop out to third, and now 2 walks. So Nick Legato, who is continuing to hit the ball hard, steps to the plate. And we'll see if he's able to extend this inning. The Gotham Knights have 15 hits. They lead 4-2.
Yeah, that fly ball that Legato hit deep into left field last time up was towering. And, about any other ballpark we play in down here, I think that's out. Certainly Lake Myrtle. 330 down the line.
Absolutely.
To left here, it looks like it juts out to, 385 in the gap?
Yeah, it says 385 in the gap, and looks like it's 405 to straightaway center. That LASIK vision I had 11 years ago still paying off.
Yeah, big ballpark for sure.
There goes Pulsini. Throw is not in time. So The Gothic Knights are able to push a runner into scoring position here with 2 outs, and with his speed, a base hit by Legato could actually give the Gothic Knights a key insurance run and make Mike Ramirez's job in the bottom of the 9th a little bit easier.
Yeah, any more of a lead here will definitely make Ramirez's job a heck of a lot easier. Pitching with a lead.
And he got under that one. Fly ball center field. And making the catch for the Wildcats is Rodriguez, the center fielder, and that ends the top of the 9th. We're going to keep it here because when we come back, or at least when they retake the field, bottom of the 9th coming up, and NJCU will have a chance to move to 5-0 for the first time since 1981. No runs, no hits, 1 left on base. We're going to have one change here because obviously with Gomez out of the game, we're going to have a new third baseman, and we'll see if there's any other changes as well. Oh, actually, I'm going to take my mic down and try to figure out what change we have for Lennon.
I think it's 28. That's 100. Yeah, 26 or 28.
It's number 20, playing third base. So it'll be Jose Ortiz, who I did not know was playing third base this year until yesterday when he came in as a defensive change. And I say that because Ortiz has been one of the Gothic Knights' top pitchers throughout his career. He's never played anywhere but pitcher. And then suddenly he's at third base. Well, it turns out that in the offseason, he's been getting a lot of work at third base defensively, and Jose is a tremendous defensive player. He made a stab at the ball yesterday coming in on the line that was just out of this world, considering he hasn't played there in years since high school. And he's going to be one of these guys over the course of the year that is going to come into games as a defensive replacement. And with Lennon Gomez getting ejected for arguing balls and strikes, will be in the game here. So that is the only change. Meanwhile, the Wildcats will send up Natalizio, Rodriguez, and Noah Vanderbeck to try to stay alive in this game. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters check swing. That'll be a foul ball. Ira Thor, Patrick Baker, representing both NJCU and SUNY Poly in our joint broadcast of a game that is a lot shorter than Game 1.
Heck of a lot shorter, for sure.
Game 1 for the Knights, they won 15-14. A game that lasted 3 hours and 49 minutes. This one, right now, 2 hours and 31 minutes. Started at 6:59. That's hit in the air off the end of the bat. Legato backpedals and makes the catch. Well, Nick Legato made that look easy yet again. Dance moves so fine, and you would see that on an ABC little program that my wife seems to like to watch. I can't stand it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we won't mention the name because I'm not a huge fan either.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Yeah, I think he backpedals probably faster than I run forward. He was moving back there. I thought that ball was going to fall in between Legato, Pena, and Feehan.
As a goalkeeper coach, I've been trying to get my kids to backpedal for years, and I should just have them watch what Nick Legato did and just replay it over and over. So the Wildcats down to 2 outs to go. Rodriguez, the center fielder, first ball.
And this is very similar to the situation the Wildcats were in yesterday in Game 2, down 2 going into the bottom of the final at bat. And yesterday it was a 2-out walk by Rodriguez that got the rally started and saw the Wildcats come back and win it. So hopefully we have the opportunity to be in that similar situation where, a runner gets aboard as he looks at a strike.
That is a called strike. So tomorrow, if you're watching this game as a Wildcat fan, to give you their schedule, while the Gothic Knights play Trine at 9 a.m., it'll be a single game tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. against Anna Maria over at the main field at Lake Myrtle, and then they play Madai in a doubleheader on Thursday. And that's going to go foul on the chopper. And actually, you guys are playing a lot of games. I look further down the schedule. You got Wentworth in a doubleheader at 9 o'clock on Friday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 10 games on this trip. That is a good 25% of your schedule. It makes that 21-hour bus ride
it's worth it
a
now.
lot more worth it.
Yeah, any less than 10 games, it might not be worth it for that long ride. And we've been playing 10 games down here for as long as I can remember.
That's off the end of the bat. It is a foul ball. The SUNY Poly fans thought that was fair and noted something about the chalk. I couldn't see anything because I'm looking straight into a pole. So
yeah, I saw nothing here either through this chain link fence, but that ball was darn close.
Results in a foul ball, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, that one was off the inside part of the bat for Rodriguez, and it just kind of flared over the third baseman, Ortiz, and I thought it was going to drop in for a single. Rodriguez was hustling on that play, so if it did drop in, he might have been all the way to second with a double, but instead it's a foul ball, and it doesn't look like Coach Pfister over at third disagrees with the call as much as there was some disagreement from the fans, so we'll reset.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. We are in, let me update the graphic, the bottom of the ninth, not the top. Check swing, and the tag is applied for out number 2. And then Castellano fired down to third base to Jose Ortiz like you normally do, firing around the horn. And Jose wasn't ready for that one. He kind of just had to put his glove up to shield himself.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Castellano fired that ball there. Runner third. Luckily Ortiz kept all his teeth.
Last chance here for the Wildcats will be no. He's hitting 14. Single strikeouts today. After a pitch, Mike Ramirez, who stands winner in relief of Sean Gibney. Ramirez has struck out 8. They have combined, I think that's set for 14 strikeouts, held to Wildcats of hits.
Yeah, and that's a low so far this season for the Wildcats through four games. Now they're going to be 5 here shortly. It's season low 4 hits. The offense has been really productive.
Chopper back to Ramirez. He turns, he fires, and the Gothic Knights are 5-0 for the first time in 37 years.
And what a game. Fantastic game. Quick moving. Good from a point for sure, especially after you had to sit here for, what was that, 4 hours almost? That
was
first
nearly
game?
4 hours plus the pregame. So, 4-hour game. And now this was a match of 2 really good teams. You saw that, and obviously that resulted in what we saw out on the field today. SUNY Poly came in at 4-0. The Gothic Knights came in at 4-0. Somebody had to win, and today it was NJCU with the middle inning making the difference. A run in the first, 2 in the run in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 1 in the sixth. Poly got 2 runs, 1 unearned in the bottom of the fifth. And that's all the scoring in this game. The first, second, third, and then the 7th, 8th through 9th, really uneventful. The Gothic Knights, 4 runs, 15 hits. That 1 error on the errant throw that caught SUNY Poly on a helmet at third base after the triple. And the Wildcats, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors. The Gothic Knights 5-0 for the first time since Ronald Reagan's first year in the White House. SUNY Poly falls to 4-1. They have 5 more games on this trip. The Gothic Knights have just 1 more. They will play Trine tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and then we will figure out exactly how we're getting back to New Jersey or JFK or LaGuardia or wherever we have to fly into with this Mother Nature wreaking havoc on the entire tri-state area coming up. So let's take a look at the final stat lines. First for NJCU, Sean Gibney started, went 3 2/3 innings, struck out 6, walked 1, allowed just 3 hits, and a good shutout start for him through 49 pitches. Mike Ramirez, 75 pitches, 5 1/3 innings, struck out 8, walked 1, allowed 1 earned run, 1 hit.
Yeah, he did a heck of a job on the mound. The lefty coming in and just shutting the door on that game after a good start by, was that 4 innings you said there? So great job by Ramirez. Live fastball. Just throwing it by a lot of the Wildcats who struck out, eight times looking in the game?
And that was really and Gibney was the one who really got that going, because the sidearm angle obviously is not something that most teams are used to. Meanwhile, for the Wildcats, Charo, with the exception of a high hit total, he gave up 14 hits, didn't throw poorly at all. 6 innings as a guy who's normally a middle reliever. He threw 101 pitches, 4 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. That's usually an adequate day in the office, but just not enough on this day. Valvo allowed just 1 hit, innings of relief, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And taking a look at the final stat lines. First for the Gothic Knights, Ramirez helped his own cause. He was 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Dan Berardi and Bill Feehan each had 3 hits in 5 at-bats. Each had a double. Pulsini was 2 for 3 with 2 walks, so he was on base 4 times. And Juan Pena, in the center fielder in this game, 2 for 4 with a run scored. Michael Donnell also had a double and an RBI. For SUNY Poly, not much offensively to talk about. They only had 4 hits. But Manderson did have that triple, a 1 for 4 effort with an RBI, and then he scored a run on a throwing error after getting plunked on the relay throw to third. Other than that, nobody else on the team had more than 1 hit. The Wildcats will regroup, play tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. The Gothic Knights, they play tomorrow at 9. As of right now, that game will not broadcast. There won't be any live stats from an NJCU point of view, as I am planning at this point to drive back down to Fort Myers and do the last 2 softball games on the trip. But really enjoyed this, Pat. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
That's a good chance for 2 schools that really don't get a chance to play each other very often to have a chance to work together here on the broadcast. And I just said chance 3 times in a minute. That is a new personal record.
Maybe you put that in the notebook along with those presidential stays in office. I think I might have to add that to my binder.
It's always good to throw those unexpected notes in there. And the unexpected note, I did not have any inclination that this team was going to be as good as it is. I had a feeling that they would be more competitive than they were a year ago when we were 500. But this team is 5-0. And no matter what happens tomorrow, this will be the greatest spring trip in the history of NJCU baseball. And SUNY Poly off to a fine start as well at 4-1. And we certainly wish you guys the best of luck going forward. So our final score here, NJCU edges SUNY Poly 4-2, a game that was supposed to have happened on Saturday. Snow had other plans, and the teams did finally get this one off today, and the Gothic Knights edge SUNY Poly 4-2. 4 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error for the Gothic Knights. For the Wildcats, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors. For everyone at NJCU Athletics, we appreciate you watching this broadcast here on Gothic Vision. Thanks to Pat Baker for joining us. We wish the Wildcats good luck the rest of the season. On behalf of everyone at NJCU Athletics, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Until we talk to you again, be well, everybody. Good stuff. Enjoyed that a lot.
Fantastic. Much better than doing it alone. Love it. Yeah.